Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Infinity. In today's video, we will discuss some problems and solutions regarding mathematical physics. We have already done a theory class regarding this. We have done two theory classes regarding matrices, rank, and today we will solve some problems from some miscellaneous topics which will include vectors, matrices, differential equations, and today I will discuss some two important concepts. So, let's begin. First, I will discuss a concept of Leibniz theorem. Okay. Now we know derivative, right? How to find derivative of a function. We know this. Okay. So now suppose a function fx is given and we need to find the first derivative. Then it's easy, we can calculate. Suppose function is 4x square plus 5x sin x. Or suppose the function is cos cube x and we need to find the first derivative. It's easy. Then if we need to find the second derivative, it's easy. But if I say you have to find the 20th derivative, is this easy? Is this easy? No, right? This is not so easy. So, to find the nth derivative, to find the nth derivative of any function, there is a very useful theorem which is called Leibniz theorem. You can check the pronunciation. This is called Leibniz theorem. Okay. These are some tools. Okay. These mathematical tools, these are very important for physics, which can be useful in any question while solving any problem. So we should be familiar with this. Okay. Now, what does it say? Okay. Now, according to this, suppose any two functions u v, okay, and we need to find the nth derivative. Then the result will be u nth time derivative v will be same. Then u n minus 1 derivative v first derivative plus u n minus 2 derivative v 2 derivative plus u n minus 3 derivative v 3 derivative plus it will go so on, and last term we will get is u v n derivative. Okay. Now here we will add few more terms. What are the terms to be added? Here we will get nc1. Okay. Here we will get nc1. In here we will get nc2. Here nc3 and so on. And at last we will get ncn. Okay. Here we can also write nc0, but that does because nc0 means basically 1, because nc0 if we solve we will get what? N factorial 0 factorial, that is 1, and n minus 0 factorial, that is n factorial by n factorial, that is 1. So if you want you can write for symmetry, but this value is 1. Okay, so this is our result. Now we will use this result so that we can understand it more properly. For an example, I'm taking an example number 1. Suppose the function is, we need to find, the function is given x cube sin x. Okay. And we need to find, suppose, third derivative. Then how we will use this formula? See this. First we will write nc0, that is 1. Here n is equals to 3. Here n is equals to 3. So u, that is our first function x cube, third derivative of it. You can write in the subscript, you can also write in the superscript. It depends upon you. Sin x will be sin x plus nc1, that is 3c1, x cubes first derivative, x cube first derivative, sorry, x cube 3 minus 1, that is 3 minus 1, and v, that is sin x first derivative, plus 3c2 plus 3c2, x cube 3 minus 2 derivative and sin x second derivative, plus 3c3, x cube 3 minus 3 x cube first and sin x cube. Okay, now you see, you can clearly check from the formula that these values we are getting. Now we will solve this. Okay, now we will solve this. See what we are getting. The first term, it is x cube's third derivative. Okay, now x cube's first derivative we will get 3x square. Second we will get 6x, and third we will get 6. So this is the first derivative, second derivative, and third derivative. So we are getting 6. Sin x will be sin x plus 3c1. See, 3c1, that means 3 factorial, 1 factorial, 3 minus 1 factorial. That is 3 into 2 into 1 by 2 factorial, that is 2 into 1, that is equals to 3. We will get 3 x cube 3 minus 1, that is second derivative. So we will write 3 into 6x and sin x first derivative, that is cos x, plus 3c2. Now you see 3c2, that is 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 minus 2 factorial, that is equals to 3. So 3 x cube 3 minus 2, that means first factorial. So x cube we will get here 3x square, and sin x second derivative. First derivative sin x we are getting cos x, and cos x if we do again derivative we will get minus of sin x. Okay, plus 3c3. 3c3 means what? 3 factorial, 3 minus 3 factorial, 3 factorial. That means what? 1. Sin x cube third derivative. Second derivative we did here, again the derivative of this, that is minus of cos x. Okay, now we will get here 6 sin x plus 3 into 6, that is 18x cos x, plus 3 into 3 9x square minus of sin x minus of cos x. Okay, minus of cos x. Okay, now the ultimate result is what? The ultimate result is, anything we can take here common. Yes, we can take sin x common. If we take sin x common, we are getting 6 minus 9x square, and if we take cos x common, we are getting 18x minus 1. So this is our final answer. Okay, this is our final answer. So in this way we can find nth derivative of any function. Okay, I hope you understood this. Okay, so this is how to find the nth derivative of any function. Okay, okay, next we will do some problems. So next we will do a sum. Then again we will study another concept of maxima and minima. Okay, so first let us do one sum. What does the question say? It says that there is a 3 cross 3 matrix. There is a 3 cross 3 matrix such that the trace is 11, and and determinant is equals to 36, and all the eigenvalues are positive. All the eigenvalues are positive. The question is, we need to find the largest eigenvalue of the matrix. Options are, first option is 18, second is 12, third is 9, and the fourth one is 6. Okay, now we will solve this. See, we need to know two things. First is that the sum of the eigenvalues is equal to trace, and the product of the eigenvalues is equals to determinant. Okay. So now, yes, we know the sum of the eigenvalue is trace and the product of the eigenvalue is determinant. So trace is equals to sum. So let the eigenvalues be lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3, that is equals to 11 given, and determinant, that is equals to 36 given, that is equals to lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3. Okay. Now we need to just solve this 2 and we will get our result. You see this 36. Okay. How we can get 36? 9 into 4. And we can also get 6 into 6. Now if you see, there are two more eigenvalues. So if we take this 2, 2 or if we take this 3, 3. If we take this 3, 3, then 3, 3 and 4. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 4, 10. No, so this is not valid, right? And if we take 9 plus 2, that is 13. So this is also not valid. Now if we take this 2, 3, so 2, comma 3, comma 6, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 6, 11. So this is valid. So our lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3 value is what? 2, comma 3, comma 6 and the largest value is what? 6. So our answer is answer D. Okay, our answer is answer D. That is our largest eigenvalue is 6. Okay, I hope you understood this. Next sum we will do the sum previously which I said, this one of gate question. Second sum we will do. What does it say? The question is, let us consider an antisymmetric matrix Pij where I and j is running from 1 to 5. We have to find the number of the independent components. The formula I have already discussed in the lecture related to matrix. So we know what, for antisymmetric matrix, the number of independent components is n into n minus 1 by 2. Here it is given 1 to 5. So 5 into 5 minus 1, that is 4 by 2, that is equals to 10. So our answer is 10. If it was a symmetric matrix, if in question it was given symmetric matrix, then the formula will be n into n plus 1 by 2. Then if we solve, we get 5 into 6 by 2, that is 5 into 3, that is 15. Okay. Okay. Proceeding to our next question. Proceeding to our next question. Next question is about, let's do a question related to, okay, this is a question. What does it say? It says, this type of question is common in JEST, JAM, GATE. Okay, this question have already come in JEST also. Average value of the function f of x is equal to 4x cubed in the interval 1 to 3, and the options are 15, 20, 40 and 80. Okay, how to do? See, to find the average value of the function, we will integrate fx dx by b minus a. B minus a is what? B minus a is the interval. Okay, here b is 3 and a is 1. So 1 by b minus a is 1 by 2, and this is from a to b, that is from 1 to 3. Okay, 4x cubed dx, that is half 4x cubed. Integration is how much? X to the 4 by 4 from 1 to 3. This is 2 by 4. This is 2 by 4. And x to the power 4 from 1 to 3. That is half 3 to the power 4 minus 1. That is half 3 to the power 4 means 3, 9, 27, 81. 81 minus 1 is 80. That is 40. So our answer is what? 40. This is our option C. Okay. Now next question we will do. Question number 4. What does it say? Question number 4. It says it's again about question which is related to matrix. It says what? A 3 cross 3 matrix is quite similar to the first one but little different, and determinant is given 36. Two of its eigenvalues are 2 and 3. We have to find the third eigenvalue. Same type of sum which is related to first. Just I want to show you the question pattern. Okay, you see this same determinant is given 36. So it means what? Lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 equal to 36. Two of the values are given what? 2 and 3. So lambda 1, 2 into 3, that is 6. So 6 lambda 1 is equal to 36. So lambda 1 is equals to 6. So this is how the questions are framed. Okay. Now next question we will do question number 5. Question number 5, what does it say? It's given A matrix X, A vector plus Y, EY cap plus Z, EZ cap. We need to find del square A. Option are 1, 3, 0, minus of 3. Since x, y, z, so we will use rectangular only, rectangular coordinate. Now you see del square A, that is equal to, we can write del A. Okay. So this is the I cap del x plus j cap. We can, for rectangular coordinates, we can write del as this. A vector is given x ex plus y ey plus z ez. Okay. Now you see here this ex, ey cap and ez cap, these are along x, y and z axis. Okay, so we can also write this as x I cap plus y j cap plus k cap z. Okay, I cap del x plus j cap. They have just used another notation, nothing else. Okay, sorry, this will be del z. Okay, now you see I cap, this product we will get. Rest I cap into z cap will be 0. I cap into j cap and z cap will be 0. Only I cap dot I cap we will get. So del x of x plus del y plus del z, that is equals to 3. Here is a del. Now 3 is a what? Constant. So derivative of any constant, del of any constant is what? 0. So our answer is C. Okay. Next, we will discuss a concept regarding maxima, minima and point of inflection. Okay. Okay. I will, next lecture we will do problems using this concept. So suppose this is a graph. Okay. Now suppose I am getting value like this. Okay. I am naming the points A, B, C, D, E. Now you see here, if there is a bead, okay, if suppose a bead which is in this position, okay. Now you see this, we can say it is a stable point. Point A, C and E, we can call this as stable points, right? Why? If the bead is here, it will remain in this position, no problem, right? Now at point B and D, we can call these 2 points as unstable point, because there is a tendency of the ball to fall down or the bead to fall down, unstable points. Okay, now you see, if any function, suppose f is given, we do what? The first derivative to find the stationary points. To find the stationary points. Then after finding that stationary points, we find the d2f dx2, and that we substitute that stationary point in this, and we get values which can be positive, negative, or equals to 0. Correct. Now you see the first derivative. If we are taking the second, this means what? The slope actually, right? If we are doing the second derivative again, now you see for this point, if we do the second derivative, we will get a negative. We will get the value negative because it is decreasing, right? So if the value of this function is negative, this point is what? This is the maxima point. So we will get the value maxima. And this point is what? It is the minima point, right? So here you see the slope is increasing. So the second derivative you will get is positive. So this is minima. So this is what? This is the minima. So if we are getting a negative value of the second derivative, the point is called maxima. And this point where we can see the particle is a little bit stationary, this point is called the point of inflection. This point is called the point of inflection. The point E is called as the point of inflection. This has its usefulness in our critical points in our isotherms regarding our thermodynamics. Okay, point of inflection. Point of inflection. Okay. Now here this point is there. Here at the point of inflection, you see what happens. There is a concavity upwards and there is a concavity downwards. So at this point we get the second derivative as 0. Okay. So this is called the point of inflection. Okay. Now here we see we are getting 2 points A and C. At point A and C we are getting minima, right? But the point C is the local minima. Point C is the local minima. Why local minima? Because in between A and C, point C is at lowest height. So it is the local minima. Suppose if B was not like this, but if B was like this, then we would say D is at local maxima. Okay, with respect to this B dash, with respect to B dash. Okay, now, okay, this was today's concept which I thought it would be interesting for you, and also it's very useful. Okay, we will do sums related to this. Questions comes like for finding angular frequency omega value. Okay, let's discuss one problem regarding this. I am framing one question. Suppose the value of potential Vx is given x square plus x cube. We need to find the angular frequency omega. Now we will do the first derivative. Okay, we will get what? 2x plus 3x square. Now for finding the stationary point, we will take it equals to 0. So 2x plus 3x square equals to 0. If we take x common, we are getting 2 plus 3x equals to 0. That means x equals to 0 and 2 plus 3x equals to 0. That means 2 equals to minus 3x and x is equals to minus 2 by 3. So we are getting this 2 stationary points. Now we will do the second derivative. We will get 2 plus 3 in 6x. Now at this stationary points we will see what is the nature of this second derivative. Now x is equals to 0. X is equals to 0. We are getting 2. That is we are getting a positive value. We doubled second derivative at x equals to minus 2 by 3. We are getting 2 plus 6 into minus 2 by 3. That is 2 plus minus of 4. That is equals to minus of 2. That is we are getting a negative value. That is we are getting a negative value. So we are getting a positive value at 2 and a negative value at minus 2 by 3. In question we need to find the angular frequency omega. formula of it is v double dash, that is d2v dx2 divided by m. Suppose in question it is given m is unit mass. M is unit mass. So we will get the value of this is root 2. As simple. As simple. Okay. We will get the value as root 2. Now this is what positive. So this is our minima. And this is our maxima. Okay. Now questions also come like to find the stable points. Also this is useful where in our phase trajectory curves. This is very useful. We will do a lot of questions regarding this. And you will understand more concepts and more problems regarding this. Okay. So for today we will stop here. In the next video we will again do in this way only. We will do some problems and we will do some questions regarding this. So today I will give some homework. Today I will give you some homework. Okay. You have to send me the solution in the Telegram group, or you tell me which option is correct in the comment section. Okay. First homework is to find the eigenvalues of the matrix 5 4 1 2, and the options are 6 comma 1, 2 comma 5, 6 comma 2, 2 comma 3. Okay, these are the options. Second homework is this is the first homework. Okay, solve this problem and please tell me your answer. Okay, please tell me your answer. Second question. Yeah, a vector A equals to 5x plus 2y I cap plus 3y minus z cap plus 2x minus az k cap is solenoidal if the constant A has value. Options are 4, minus 4, C 8 and D minus 8. So these are the two sums which is your homework. You have to do this and comment in the comment box which option is correct. Okay. I hope you understood today's lecture. Thanks for watching.